Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Orbital Takes. Today is Wednesday, September 8th. And if you're listening to this, unfortunately, the moon mission is delayed. We did not launch on Saturday. Pat, how you doing? How you been, buddy?
Yeah, Chris, I'm a little disappointed. Been anticipating this Artemis launch like you have, like millions of other people, and we're just gonna have to wait just a little bit longer, it looks like.
Yeah, hydrogen leaks got us again on Saturday. Not to mention,
Yeah,
I woke up on Saturday. I was excited about it, but at the same time, college football is back. I feel like
yeah.
we lost that moment that Monday, what was it, August 29th. Like that was just looking back, that was such a perfect day. Monday, nothing's going on. It was
Oh,
like,
I know.
it was this targeted date that we were like all looking forward to. And now it's not, it's potentially not even going to happen until October, bro. And I don't even know if it's going to happen in October. I'm not just trying to talk shit. I really don't think it is. What do you think?
Yeah. October 17th is like the next no earlier than date that they've put out there.
Mm.
Man, liquid hydrogen, man. It's one of those things where yeah, it's we'll talk about the liquid hydrogen thing later, but yeah, the late October launch window, that's if everything goes right in the VAB over the next couple of weeks and they're able to pin down that quick disconnect issue there. So I'm hopeful, but as we've seen, this rocket is just going to continue to chug along, and yeah, we'll see when it launches. What are
Yeah,
your thoughts on it?
I mean, so it's crazy. All those wet dress rehearsals. I thought everything was ready to go. I mean, I was down in Florida, bro. I am so happy I did not stay another week because I was thinking about it. I was thinking about staying the
Oh
whole month.
man.
I saved myself thousands of dollars just for not believing in this rocket. Unfortunately, I think it's also interesting that one of the reasons why it's going to take so long to get back up is because they apparently they have like a 25-day limit for the certification of the flight
Hmm.
termination system. So the thing that will in the future potentially save astronauts' lives, like that has a 25-day expiration date, which I think is great, right? So I'm going to say, if it has to, take longer because we're going to make sure that I'm going to be safe riding that thing one day as a certified astronaut, maybe NASA astronaut.
There you
Yeah, I don't
go.
know. I'm fine with that. But yeah, we're not going to see this thing go out in this month, and we're probably not going to see it go out in October. I don't know. So that really sucks about
What's
that.
going to happen first, Chris? Is my son going to be born, or is the Artemis I rocket going to fly?
When is the expected due date
October
again?
25th. October
Dude,
25th is the due date. So
what if
I
it
don't
happens on
I
the
don't know.
same day? You gotta throw some type of Artemis in
I
that
might have
name,
to
no?
name him Artemis at that point.
Yeah, shit. We're not gonna give up the name of Pat's unborn son, but it could potentially be one of the Greek gods. You never know.
If it launches on the day that Artemis I launches, I'm gonna have some reconsidering to do. That's for
That
sure.
would be crazy. I mean, this kid's already going to be a massive space fan. Imagine he gets like the blessing of being. Wait, would it be a blessing or would it be a curse to be born on the launch day of Artemis One?
Oh, definitely a blessing. Are you
Yeah,
kidding? Yeah,
yeah,
he's already grown up with a space nerd as a dad. So yeah, I
yeah.
mean, it'll all come together. Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's one of the reasons why I want to have kids, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? I want to be able to teach my kid space.
They have engineering and astrophysics for infants.
No
They
shit.
have they have books. Yeah, not even kidding. Yeah.
At
So
what age that's got me thinking. At what age did you learn what the universe was? I don't think I put the dots
dude,
together. I mean, we still don't really understand what the fuck it is. Like, let's be real.
that's
But
a good point.
I think that I realized that the sun had an expiration date. I think at some point in middle school, and that's when I learned that we don't live forever, and that's when the panic attacks set in. And I think that's when
Mm,
I became a space fan because I wanted to learn more about it, and I wanted to be like,
right.
wait a minute, like let me better understand this. I think somebody in my class was like, the sun's gonna die, right? And I was just like, fuck, really?
I want to say, yeah, I Apollo 13. I remember viscerally my reaction to seeing that in the theaters and like, holy shit, I can't believe that actually happened.
Yeah.
Can't believe people actually did that. But I want to say I had a general understanding of space and whatnot before then. But
Yeah.
that when I was 8 years old, that would really kicked off my space nerddom.
Yeah, you know what would be dope if we did as a podcast? Why don't we bring somebody on here that has never seen one of these launches before? I guarantee you we could find somebody easily on the internet that's never seen a NASA launch, that's never seen a SpaceX launch, and either they're flat earther or whatever. Maybe we just talk to them about it, right? And just like watch it with them and see the reaction. That'd be really interesting because I
Though
bet you not everybody has seen a space shuttle launch like in 4K like they have out there on the internet,
that would be an interesting case study to do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
right.
also haven't seen a rocket launch, so I could be your guest.
Yeah. What is your first launch going to be? Is it going to be Artemis 2?
I hope not, but it might be.
Yeah, so
I hope to make it. I hope to make it down there with you to Starbase
yeah.
before then. Considering Artemis 2 is looking like it'll be 2024 at the earliest.
Mhm.
So yeah, potentially is going to be Artemis 2, but I hope not. I hope
Yeah.
it's quicker than that.
Yeah, my first was a Falcon 9, and it definitely won't be the last. We'll get down there and see some more. So what should we do here? Should we dive into launch and scrub of the week, or do you want to talk a little bit about what the JWST has been doing recently? I mean, this telescope has been fucking on fire, Pat. There's so
Yeah.
much news that's come out. Where
Oh my gosh.
where do we start?
Yeah. Just this morning was another one of those hot content drops from the JW
Out of
team
nowhere.
there. Out of nowhere, the Tarantula Nebula. Holy shit, that thing is beautiful.
That's
And the
crazy.
first direct images of exoplanets last week. Yeah, this
Mhm.
thing has been doing work.
Yeah, one of the first direct images of that exoplanet, that was a moment that like I was like shocked. I was shocked to see that
Mhm,
shit when you look at all four of those different filters and you're
mhm.
literally looking at a planet that is so far away from us right now. And I think only about 20 exoplanets have been like directly imaged. This was the first with the JWST, but
Right.
normally, we find them through the transit method or through different ways that we can measure the light around the star, but directly fucking imaging this thing,
Yeah.
that's sick. I want to look at closer exoplanets than I think this was like 360 something light years away, which is
Yeah.
relatively closely in space. I want to go even closer. I want to go to like
Yeah.
Alpha Centauri.
I know that this is important to the general public. My wife was like, "Hey, did you see this exoplanet thing? That is really cool." And
Yeah.
so people are definitely noticing outside of just the space nerds that
Yeah.
we follow and whatnot. It made it into the general public.
Love that. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that JWST has been going on fire lately. And so we only have 5K exoplanets discovered right now. We're going to be
Hmm.
hearing about new exoplanets discoveries. I would say about 2 a week until we die from now on, because there's another discovery. All these papers are being written about a lot of the science that's been done. So not everything gets public, right? Another story, I don't know if you saw, is like they found sand in one of the like skies of another exoplanet. Did you see that one
I didn't see
recently?
that.
Yeah, it's like some paper that just was published, I think, like a week ago, and they're like, "We found sand in the atmosphere." It's like, sand in the atmosphere? What the fuck?
Oh
We're gonna be
wow.
hearing some crazy shit from this
Yeah.
telescope, and we can actually help the science too. Didn't you say there was like a website that we can go and like take data and just like put it into different fucking like ways to analyze
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, you can see the raw data from the James Webb Telescope. There's a Twitter bot that every time an image comes in, it just automatically gets uploaded. There's some kind of workflow that they were able to
Wait, that's
program there.
sick. Yeah.
Now these are like raw black and white images. You look at it, and you're like, okay, like what am I supposed to do with that? I'm not an image processor, but I was just fooling around in there the other week, and it's like there was this like star with like a ripple kind of thing going on. And it's like, what the hell is that? And then over the
Saw that.
weekend, they released the color version of that, and it's like, holy
Mhm.
shit. So yeah,
Yeah.
anybody can go. That's the beautiful thing about NASA is all this stuff is public domain. So
Mhm.
all of the rovers and orbiters and things like that have these types of raw images the anybody can access. You just have to be a talented image processor to do anything with them.
Yeah, I kind of want to learn how to do that really
Me
well and
too.
just become like an amateur astronomer, right? Sit
Yeah,
back on Sundays, have the game on, get a bunch of data and just process it and better understand the fucking universe. That'd be sick.
man, you sound pretty nerdy there, dude.
Yeah,
But
no,
I'm
there you
with you.
go.
I'm with you.
No,
I'm with
everybody
you.
today in my group chat was talking about our fantasy draft at 9 o'clock, and I'm like, dude, Tarantula Nebula. Like, have you seen it? All right, let's jump into launch and scrub of
Yeah.
the week. Who's going first? I think you went first last week, right? Should I
Yeah,
kick this
yeah, yeah.
off?
You go first.
All right. So my launch of the week is a sad one this week. All right, guys. So I'm sad to say Frank Drake passed away last week on September, I think it was September 3rd or September 2nd. And he was the man. He was one of the pioneers of the search for extraterrestrial life. Well, he's known best for the Drake equation, right? Which
Mhm.
is the equation that is used to estimate the number of intelligent civilizations in our galaxy, which is there's a website where you can just go type in any number you want, and pretty much any number you type in gives you like 1,000 intelligent alien
Hmm.
civilizations in our galaxy. So I love doing that. Some of the other shit that he did, he helped map the center of the Milky Way. He discovered that Jupiter has a radiation belt. He worked on Venus's atmosphere.
Wow.
And then the two coolest things besides the Drake message that obviously, is on t-shirts everywhere. They sell it in like Hot Topic, that equation. He helped craft the Arecibo message in 1974, which he like sent to this globular star cluster M13, and that was like this iconic space message. Then he also worked with Carl Sagan on some of the golden records. So this guy has just always been around space. He's a total nerd with it, and yeah, man, he really, I think, pushed the envelope when it comes to like humans understanding that we are not alone in the galaxy, or potentially we are alone in the galaxy. So that's just some
Hmm.
crazy shit, and I want to launch Frank Drake's life. How do you feel about that?
Did he was he involved in the founding of SETI? Do you know?
Yes, yes, he
Okay,
was
yeah,
one of the
I thought so.
pioneers in
Yeah,
SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, and SETI right now is massive, and they're collabing
yeah,
with the UFO community, which is great
yeah,
for everybody. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
UAP community.
There you
Yeah,
go.
come on
UAP.
now.
Let's use the right
Yeah.
lingo there. You know what I mean? What is
It'll always be UFO to me.
no, no, for real, me too, bro. I said we grew up on that shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, what's your launch of the week?
So my launch of the week is the Voyager 1 anniversary. So Voyager 1
Ooh.
is 45, it was launched 45 years ago. So think about that. There's people who have spent their entire career working on the Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 on the
Mhm.
Voyager mission. The Voyager Interstellar message is a golden record on the Voyager spacecraft that is going to be, orbiting the center of the Milky Way for, potentially billions of years. And this is humanity's first interstellar spacecraft. They've been cruising on out since
Right.
the 70s. They have left the influence of our star, and they're now in the interstellar medium where they continue to send back data 45 years later.
It's crazy.
These are the only spacecraft who have visited Neptune and Uranus. They gave us our first views of Titan, of Europa, of all of the iconic photos of Jupiter and Saturn from back in the 70s come from Voyager. They really launched the planetary science discipline, and it's really hard to understate these these probe significance in
Mhm,
spaceflight and
mhm.
human space exploration. So
Yeah.
there's a great documentary on Netflix called The Furthest or The Farthest. It's one of
Yep.
those,
Yep.
and it's about the thought the thought process of coming up with the Voyager mission when they realized that all the outer planets were going to be aligning and they could hit all of them within like a 10 to 15-year span, as
Yeah.
opposed to taking decades to get to them. So yeah, that's one of my personal favorite missions of all time. And yeah, like I said, it's just hard to understate the significance of these.
We could have 10 episodes and still not even cover everything about
For sure.
the Voyager 1 and 2. Me too. It's one of my favorite space missions. You see a lot of tattoos of the golden records. I don't know,
Yeah.
a lot in like Williamsburg area and New York City. I don't know. I feel like as space fans, like those records are so famous. The Voyager
Yeah.
actual, like the way they put together the documentary that you just mentioned.
Hmm.
Guys, if you have not watched it, stop this episode. Go watch that right now. It is fucking incredible. You're right. How everybody was like so rushed. They're like, there was this one alignment happening and it wasn't going to happen for a long time again. They're like, we got to go, go, go.
Yeah.
And some of the photos and videos they used on those golden records were a little weird, but that's a good launch. That's a good launch right there. 45 years. What was that? 1970.
I think they were launched in 77. So they've been cruising since then. One of the coolest things they did was when they turned around one of them and took the solar system photo,
Mhm,
and you can see all of the planets and the sun in there, and Earth is just one little pale blue dot. That's where we get that famous soliloquy from. And
mhm.
yeah, these things are awesome. The golden record was interesting. The wife of Carl Sagan was the creative director for that record, and they had like 6 months to somehow get a representation of all of humanity's music onto
Yeah.
this record. And I just listened to an interview with her, and Andrewian is her name, and she's still around. She's the executive producer of
Mhm.
Cosmos, so she's still around. People are still around who were involved with this, even 45 years later.
Carl Sagan, I feel like he died young, right? Like, didn't he die in his 60s?
Yeah. He died super young. He died
That's so
in the
upsetting.
90s from I think from cancer. But yeah, we lost him way too young.
Yeah,
Fortunately.
I think OT we should create a new segment on like maybe like once every other week we'll dive into one of these pioneers of like the space game, like Carl Sagan, Frank Drake, like Albert Einstein, people like that.
I
I
like
don't
that
know. Yeah,
idea.
and like
Yeah, we
we'll
got to
just
get some
make
of
it.
these names out there.
Yeah, because I bet you a lot of people still don't know who Carl Sagan is, and he is like the godfather of space. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for
So
sure.
shit. All right, so let's go into
Yeah.
scrub of the week. My
Yeah, what you got
scrub
for
of the
scrub of the week?
dude. So my scrub of the week is a little controversial. I am going to scrub aspects of the Big Bang Theory. All right, I'm not scrubbing the whole Big Bang Theory, Pat. I just want to
Okay.
scrub certain parts of it that we don't
Okay.
fully understand, right? So a lot of drama's happening online right now. Now that the James Webb Telescope is looking further back into time than we've ever seen, we're seeing a lot of stuff that we didn't expect. And some of the issues right now is you have papers coming out that, you have some scientists panicking, you have some saying not, we expected this, but the one thing that we can confirm is that this is going to change our understanding of the universe, right? The James Webb Telescope. So I'm going to scrub an aspect of the Big Bang Theory that we don't know yet, right? So I'm scrubbing something that we are about to, I think, disprove or either prove incorrect or prove correct, because a lot of these galaxies that we're seeing earlier on in the universe, we're looking at them, we're like, that isn't supposed to look like that, right? You know what I mean? Some of these galaxies, if we're looking at light, let's say a couple 100 million years after the Big Bang, and then you're looking at this galaxy and you're like, that galaxy looked like it took 9 billion years to form, or maybe 2 billion years, something around that. It's like, what the fuck is happening, right? Was there actually a Big Bang? And is the universe static? I don't know. Like, I feel like a lot of these big questions are going to be brought up in the news a lot recently, and I'm going to scrub.
Right.
I don't know. I'm going to scrub the Big Bang Theory, man. I know it's fucked up. I'm going to scrub it for now. What do you think?
That's some mind-blowing shit there, man. That is the New York Times just had on their podcast an episode dedicated to huge questions like that. And I would encourage anybody who's interested in this kind of stuff to go listen to that. It's an episode of the Daily that was maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's some wild and crazy questions that I think we are finally having the ability to answer some of them with these instruments like the James Webb.
Yeah, the JWST, baby. Yeah. So basically, guys, to be clear, I am going to scrub the Big Bang Theory. Fuck it. Why not? It's a theory. We have not confirmed it. I think that something's happening here soon. And I think that we're gonna have a new theory come out.
That is an orbital take if I've ever heard one.
I know. I feel like we just lost some followers there. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna scrub one of the foundations of modern science.
I'm literally going to scrub something that we have mathematical evidence for now.
I'm going to scrub the theory of evolution because you just don't know.
I mean, I'm basically scrubbing everything humanity has ever stood for. So that's
funny.
All right. So what's your scrub of the week?
My scrub of the week is liquid hydrogen. Liquid hydrogen is the bastard that is preventing the Artemis I launch from
I'm going to kick liquid hydrogen's ass, bro.
Yeah. You're going to have trouble finding liquid hydrogen because it is the smallest and lightest atom on the periodic table.
Oh, shit.
Which is why it's so difficult. And NASA has been dealing with these going back to the early 60s. And I read that on average, each shuttle launch, and not every single one, but on average, each shuttle launch was scrubbed at least one time due to a hydrogen leak. So think about that. We've been dealing with this for decades now. One of the most wild things ever that I learned was in the early days of Gemini and Apollo. Liquid hydrogen, when it catches on fire, it burns clear. You can't see it, you can't smell it, you can't feel it unless you're right next to it, of course. They would have NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, who put men on the moon, would have guys walking around in those fire retardant suits, waving brooms around the rockets to see if the brooms caught on fire. And if they caught on fire, they knew there was a hydrogen leak somewhere. So that's how nasty this stuff is. Of course, we need it to make rocket fuel and stuff like that. So, it does serve a purpose, obviously, but it's just so finicky. So I'm going to scrub liquid hydrogen.
We are definitely scrubbing liquid hydrogen, whether we want to scrub it or not. It's been scrubbed, Pat.
Yes. Yeah.
Wait, I was going to say something funny about that. Oh, yeah. So this has taught us, guys, that if NASA ever has any type of issue with the SLS before launch, scrub your plans. Don't wait for the overall press announcement. Clearly, they just buy time for like 3 hours for Bill Nelson to like figure out what he wants to say, and then they scrub it officially. Like, there's no way that they're gonna like just like find a hydrogen leak and just like tape it and just fucking go. There's no way.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, I know they tried several things to like reseal that stuff. Like the
It
seals have
wasn't
to be
happening.
like literally perfect. Because as Bill Nelson said, if you take a grain of sand, you take an atom of liquid hydrogen
Yeah.
on the and yeah, it'll literally go straight through some materials like steel.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey guys, I know everybody's probably getting sick of talking about I mean, we are too. We're getting like, I like don't know what else we can say about it. Like, this rocket sucks. You know what I mean? The rocket sucks. We're not going till October and potentially even later. So shit, man.
I'm
That's
not gonna
that.
say the rocket sucks, but I'm gonna say it's frustrating.
It's a frustrating rocket that
Yeah.
I like want to beat the shit out of. Is that nice? is that nicer, Pat? You know what I
Put
mean?
them up, put them up.
Literally, liquid hydrogen, like meet me in the back of town so I can fight you. All right. So they have another episode of Orbital Takes. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, Pat, you got anything?
Thanks for everybody who's recently followed us. We're up to 100 followers now, which brick by brick, as we say, Spo. But we really appreciate all the support, everybody, and give us a review and 5 stars on whatever podcast platform you listen to. That'd be a huge help for us.
There you go, guys, and we will see you next week in Ad Astra, baby.
Ad Astra.